Happy Friday, everyone. I just don't understand the housewives of any of these shows. You would think that these women would learn their lessons from previous housewives, from Teresa Giudice from Jersey. Her and her ex-husband, were got arrested and went to prison for tax evasion. You would think they would learn their lesson with Karen from Potomac, housewife. She got a DUI 4 times until finally shit hit the fan and she's arrested and now she's in prison or jail. You would think, what else? Shaw from Housewife of Utah, when she did some also tax invasions, or no, not even tax evasion, that she scammed elderly people for their money. You would think these women will learn their lesson from other women. Well, apparently, Wendy and her husband, Happy Eddie, well, they got arrested for fraudulent lies that they told, and now it's probably catching up to them. So, welcome back, everyone, to That's It. Well, you guys, I don't understand why this is breaking news with Wendy and her husband, Happy Eddie, were arrested on Thursday um, due to fraudulent fraud and lying and making false statements to the police officer. I don't understand this. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are shocked and surprised. And I have to say, am I? Probably not. I just don't understand people who have money, success, have a good upbringing, and they will try to do something fraudulent and something incriminating, and then thinking that it's not going to bite them in the butt later on down the line. I don't understand that, and my heart breaks for these two. Everything is allegedly. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but it doesn't look good for them. It really don't. After reading the alleged details, even though we don't have court documents, only like TMZ or high reporters have the probably the initial documents, but I don't. I'm just going based on TMZ and the news reporter are saying about about Wendy and her husband Happy Eddie arrest on Thursday. But you would think these housewives, okay, you would think they would learn from other housewives. For example, like I said in my intro, Therese Giudice, her and her ex-husband, tax fraud, okay? Um, Housewives of Utah, what's her name? Shaw, okay, Jen Shaw, scamming elderly people for their life earned savings and then use it for fraudulent things for her own keep, and she's in prison right now. Who else that done? Karen from the Housewife of Potomac, where Wendy is in the housewife. 4 times of DUI. 4 times. You would think she would learn her lesson after the first, the second, the third. But 4 times, I guess, is the charm. And now she is in jail, serving a year. Okay? You would think. And I just don't understand this. And again, I don't know why this is breaking news. I don't know why this is a shock to some people. I have to say it's not, because you would think these women will learn from other women for trying to do fraudulent things and thinking that they're not going to get caught. I don't understand this, but I'm just going to break it down to you what happened. So they were arrested on Thursday, like I said, the 9th, and as of October 10th, Wendy, the housewife of Potomac, and her husband Eddie were arrested, indicated on multiple felonies and misdemeanors, fraud charges, while I can't even speak. While specific documents are not available for the public in the PDF format, courts and news reporters have revealed details of the allegations. So this is the allegation details. The alleged crime, the charges stem from an April 2024 incident in which the couple reported their home had been burglarized while they were on vacation in Jamaica. They claim a personal property loss of about $450,000, including designer bags and jewelries, and filed claims with at least two insurance companies. Now, apparently, excuse me, their story was not inconsistent. There was a lot of holes in their story. While they were telling law enforcement that their house got burglarized, someone broke in and took all their items. Now, prosecutions allege that the evidence contradicts Wendy and her husband Eddie's claims. Basically, stolen rings. Investigators reportedly discovered Wendy wearing a diamond ring on social media that have been reported stolen. Let's just get this straight. You file a police report. You file a claim to the insurance company. Why on earth would you wear a ring? Allegedly, if this really happened, why would you wear the ring that you report stolen and then post on social media? Like, you must be the dumbest person on earth. Okay? If you're going to commit a crime, be smart about it. Okay? Lay low. Don't post anything. Make sure your story is consistent. Make sure what you're saying is actually true. And make sure there's no breadcrumbs so no one can investigate you. Because, when people report things stolen from their homes or if their house got burned on fire, people file a claim to make sure, and then there's investigators go over there to make sure that their house was burned according to what they say. If it's arson, then you end up in jail and pay a fine because a lot of people do that just to collect insurance money. Just like if you kill your spouse, and for insurance money, you end up in prison. Okay, same thing if people sell like artwork that's worth millions of dollars, there's insurance for that. So when things are missing, there's companies, different insurance companies, go and investigate to make sure what people are filing their claims is actually accurate before they give you the money or some type of reimbursement. That's why I would think that's how it works. So basically, what happened to Wendy and her husband, like they reported, they went away on vacation. Someone broke into their homes. They filed a claim. Now they're saying that the authorities are saying, and the prosecutors are saying that their story is not consistent and something's not adding up. Now, insurance claims allegedly filed claims with multiple insurance companies and failed to disclose these facts to the parties. Now, why would you do that? That would be red flag. That would be suspicious. That you're not filing the missing items. Why would you not do that? You know what I mean? Again, I don't know where their mindset were at the time in 2024 for them to do this and not file a claim. Don't you know if you're going to do something incriminating, at least play the part? You get what I'm saying? And again, maybe this was their first time doing this. Maybe they didn't. Apparently, they don't know. They didn't know what they were doing because look what happened. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, then it says items returns. So records show that many of the luxury items claimed as stolen had actually been purchased, then returned for a full refund before the alleged burglary. That don't make any sense. Again, little suspicious. Little suspicious, by the way. Now, financial motivation. So, according to court documents, also know that the couple was reportedly burdened by substantial debt around the time of the alleged burglary. Now, my thing is, isn't she a doctor? Isn't he have a business of cannabis? So, were they going broke? They're not having money, and then she had like started a startup with candles and a podcast. I don't understand this. With a woman like Wendy, who's very educated, has degrees, and very smart and intelligent, she's a doctor, not the medical doctor, but she has her degree. Maybe they were going through some financial situation. Maybe they were trying, made a false claim, false report saying that, maybe they schemed up something. I don't know. I don't want to put any rumors or anything, but I'm just trying to think as a criminal properly what a criminal would do. Not saying these two are criminals, but when you're desperate times from desperate measures, and I guess when your back is against the wall and you're going through a lot of financial situations that you're desperate to do something crazy that you wouldn't typically do on an average day. And I'm just playing devil advocates here. maybe they had a discussion. Maybe there was planning some. Maybe they were planning to fake a burglary in their home while they're on vacation. Maybe they had someone come into their home, pretend things were missing, then returned it. I don't know. But as soon as something went wrong, clearly, because there's a picture of her with the ring on social media, the inconsistent stories, the they didn't file the claims of other missing items. So a lot of red flags. And on top of that, they made false statements. And that's a no-no. That's a no-no. Again, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then my heart goes out to those children. And let's they're arrested. This is their mugshot. Um, you know, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. They got released, so they're home safe with their families, and they want people to respect their privacy at the moment. Because this is a tough, challenging time, and sure enough, because it is, then we just there we go, much better. Um, and it's just crazy. So I'm just going to read this briefly to you. So they're back home safely with their family in good spirits. They are grateful for the outpouring of concerns and support from friends and family and colleagues. Alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they respectfully ask for privacy as they focus on their family and legal process ahead. Yeah, I would too because they're public figures. You know what I mean? They're in a show of the Real Housewife of Potomac, and I have no words. I really don't. You would think that they will learn their lesson. You would think they learned their lesson, and apparently that you would think they would learn from other housewives from their criminal activities and thinking that they won't get caught. But let's say I just want to say this to you. So Wendy faces 16 total charges, okay, including 7 felonies and 9 misdemeanors. Her husband, Eddie, faces 18 total charges, 9 felonies, and 9 misdemeanors. That is that's some crazy, you know what? Crazy, 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 crazy. And what else I can say? $450,000 worth of missing items that they allege that they got someone broken into their homes. What else I can mention to you? Like I said, falsify police documents, which that's a no-no. Um, Also, according to Prosecutor Bell recommendation, documents obtained by TMZ, the couple's reportedly told the police that several designers' bags and jewelry have been stolen. I already said that already. Again, who in their right mind? Listen, again, I'm just baffled. You know what I mean? If you're going to commit a crime, be smart about it. You know what I mean? Have they not learned from the other housewives? I know I keep saying that. It's just mind-boggling. I don't understand. Anyway, they're not very bright. For someone that's very educated and very smart people, they're not very bright at all for doing this. And I can't even imagine what the friends, the family going through it. This is an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment to our family, to the community, and obviously they're gonna have their day in court. But if they are convicted, my gosh, you're gonna be like Therese Giudice and her husband. You know what I mean? And they have 3 beautiful young children. What's going to happen to them? Probably their mother, her mother's going to take care of them if they are convicted. Let's hope and pray. But if what the prosecutor is saying is true, and they have evidence or proof to back it up, it's going to be crazy trial. I have to say it is. But take a listen to what one of the news reporters had to say about the couple. So let's take a listen. Whoops, not this one. There we go.
The Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband Edward were arrested on charges of fraud. Access Hollywood can confirm. Wendy faces 16 total charges, including 7 felonies and 9 misdemeanors, including making a false statement to an officer, while her husband faces 18 total charges, 9 felonies, 9 misdemeanors, according to court docs obtained by Access Hollywood. On Thursday, the reality stars were taken into custody and were later released on bond Friday morning. According to the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, the charges stem from the couple reporting a burglary in April 2024. At the time, the pair reportedly told police that while they were on vacation, approximately 80 items of luxury goods were stolen from their home, which reportedly was worth more than $200,000. But during the investigation, detectives allegedly found that over $20,000 of the reported stolen items were returned back to the store by the owner. And detectives also claimed to have found photos of Wendy wearing jewelry that had been reported stolen after the alleged burglary took place. Access Hollywood has reached out for comment. The news of the couple's arrest comes on the heels of Wendy's co-star Karen Huger's prison release after she served 6 months for back-to-back DUIs. Access Hollywood's Housewives Nightcap podcast just spoke with Wendy last week, and she talked about if she would be open to having Karen return on the hit show following her release.
Well, you heard it first. It's just crazy. You know what I mean? You would think you learn from your co-hosts. You know, Karen, 4 DUIs. I said prison, 6 months in jail. In my opinion, 6 months is not enough, but hopefully she'll learn her lesson, you know, because anyway, it's not even about her. But again, they're going to have their day in court, and it's until proven guilty. Everything is alleged. But it seems like the authorities have incredible evidence to support their claims. Now, of course, they're going to have their day in court. I will let you know more about this because it's definitely going to go in trial. And this should not be a shock to anyone. You know what I mean? It definitely wasn't a shock to me because it seemed like some of these housewives, not all of them, they'd like to do criminal activities and thinking that they're not going to get caught. You know what I mean? If you don't pay your taxes, you're going to end up going to prison, okay? If you do in criminal activities, you're going to go to prison. And if you're going to do, and I'm not condoning this, but if you're going to do something illegal, at least do it the smart way and not show the evidence. Like, again, she posted on social media the ring that she reported, that claimed that it was stolen from her home on social media. Like, you don't think people are going to watch you or follow you when you file a claim? Like, people don't even think that. Oh, I'm just going to file a false claim and say my house got burglarized and got stolen, stole my stuff, and then that's it. Hello? Like, get serious here. Like, people are going to investigate and follow you, make sure what you're saying is accurate and true. But no, I guess obviously they're not really, good criminals because look what happened to them. They got caught. But anyway, my heart goes out to them, and I'll definitely keep you posted on what's next for Wendy and Eddie. And damn, that just sucks what happens to them. It sucks. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you guys so much for joining in and watching this channel. That's it. I really appreciate each and one of you. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. God bless. And I will see you guys on Monday.